In the thousands of episodes throughout the history of Judge Mathis, we've seen it all. Unpaid rent, car accidents, and bitter family feuds. But today, a piece of evidence entered the courtroom that left everyone speechless. A casket! Why would a man sue his former flame for the cost of a casket? Is this a legitimate debt? Or just a bitter act of revenge from a broken heart? Today, we're breaking down the case of David Compare versus Shawnee Slaughter, a story where the line between generosity and delusion becomes dangerously thin. David Compare enters the court seeking $3,400. According to David, he was Shawnee's financial backbone during her darkest times. The climax of his generosity? When a tragedy struck her family, he didn't hesitate to pay for a casket. David insists these were loans. I helped her because I believed we were building a future. He presents a long list of expenses, trying to paint himself as the responsible, provider-type man who was betrayed. He wants the court to see Shawnee as a gold digger who used his kindness and then vanished. The moment Shawnee Slaughter opens her mouth, David's narrative begins to crumble. Shawnee doesn't just deny the debt, she denies the entire relationship. We were never a couple. Those words hit David like a ton of bricks. Shawnee explains that David was simply an acquaintance who was aggressively pursuing her. As for the casket, she views it as a voluntary gift offered during her time of grief, with no mention of a loan agreement. But she doesn't stop there. Shawnee is countersuing for $2,000 for defamation. She claims that after she rejected him, David turned into a different person, launching a social media smear campaign to humiliate her and ruin her life. This is where Judge Mathis's decades of experience shine. He ignores the pile of receipts and looks at the intent behind the money. He asks the million-dollar question: if there was no intimacy, why were you spending all this money? Mathis points out a bitter legal truth for David. In civil law, if you give someone money while courting them without a written promissory note, that money is legally considered a gift. The judge sees right through it. David was trying to buy Shawnee's loyalty. When he couldn't buy her heart, he tried to use the court to get his investment back. Mathis doesn't hold back, calling out David's pettiness and his refusal to accept rejection. The verdict was swift. David's claim was dismissed. He walked away with $0 and a very bruised ego. Shawnee's countersuit was also dismissed, as she couldn't prove a specific economic loss. Both parties left the court with nothing but their lingering resentment. The takeaway? This case is a mirror of modern dating. David represents the nice guy extremity, believing that money is a currency for love. Shawnee serves as a warning about the complications of accepting grand gestures from people you don't intend to stay with. In the end, the biggest debt in this case wasn't for a casket. It was a debt of self-respect. Perhaps David finally learned that love is the one thing you can never demand a refund for.